Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to A World of Tanks. Here going to do a review because there's a special going on this weekend. Well, it'll have been many weekends before you see this video, I'm sure, but the weekend that I'm recording this, there is actually a special going on. And it's got discounts on buying equipment and also discounts on premium tanks, and also 1 gold gives off 35 credits, 35 XP rather than 25, which is handy because I just free XP'd my way from the Archer to the Achilles, and I'm using this gun, and it has the accuracy, but it doesn't have the aim time, and it doesn't have the penetration to be useful. And I've got to get 5,700 XP to get the Mark V 17 pounder. Then I've got to research the tracks for another 5,100, then the upgraded turret for 4,600 XP, before I can finally get the 15,000 XP that I need for the better gun. So I'm going to have fun with this for a while. Also, there's times 3 XP over this weekend, so used it up on the Achilles, used it up on some other tanks such as the Firefly, which I used to get the 15,000 XP that I needed to actually get to the Achilles from the Archer. But I'm not talking about that today, because I said I'm doing a review, and indeed I am, and it is of this, which is the Excelsior. It's a Tier 5 British heavy tank, premium in the tech tree, and I never bought the Excelsior because it's terrible. Frankly, indeed, there it is. Would cost 1,500 gold, however, only cost 750, and well, I had some gold left over from getting the Le Hafeitin B2, which there it is, which came with 5,500 gold. And, well, as you can see, I still have some of it left. I barely use gold. All I use gold for, buying premium vehicles, putting camouflage on other vehicles, and getting crude to 100% when it's on offer. So, yeah. But I did originally, if you happen to see anything, I did happen to have 1,600,000 about credits. And the reason I only have 28,000 from that is A, fitting this stuff, B, buying things, such as 2 of these things, to improve vents, which is 600,000 with the special off, so fitted one to my Churchill, plus buying 2 medium caliber tank gun rammers, plus getting 2 75% crews, 1 for the Excelsior and 1 for the Achilles. Yeah. I've spent a lot of those credits now, so I'm now down to that much. I actually had to grind some more credits to actually buy gun rammer to fit on this tank. Also, I've bought some vacant slots. 1 to buy the Excelsior and 1 to get the Achilles. But anyway, enough of that. Let's actually finally move on to the review at hand, which is of the Excelsior. So, looking at it here, survivability 670 HP, which is one of the largest HP pools at Tier 5 heavies, only being beaten by the OI Experimental, the 2 Churchills, and I think there may be something else that has 670 health. I'm not too sure what. But it does have a fair amount of hit points, that's what I'm saying. And for the armor's actually not that bad. 114 at the front of the hull, 31 at the side, 108 at the rear. For some reason it's got a lot of armor here, but not a lot here, which is a problem because you'll want to angle, and then it'll be like straight through your side armor, because even though you're angled, it's only 31mm. However, I think this does count as spaced armor, because underneath this armor is wheels and then the hull, which is only 31. But yet I think this does count as spaced armor. So high explosive and heat hitting your side will do not much, if anything, from the side, because spaced armor loves heat and HE. Which, if you fire your 105 Hetzer derp gun at the side of a Matilda, you'll find very quickly that it does about 31 damage and blows off his track, because it's spaced armor on the side of the Matilda. But The armour at the front is decent, especially if you angle it like that, bounce shots off there. The turret as well, not that bad. 114 at the front, 92 at the side and rear, which, considering it looks almost exactly the same as the Churchill's turret, is odd because this is only 88 at the front, 88 at the side and 76 at the rear, but yet this has got thicker armour at the front of the turret, which is sort of where it counts, because with the Churchill, yeah, you've got loads of armour here, you've got about 3 cubic centimetres of armour actually at the front of your Churchill, because it's all weak spots and non 177mm hull armour, and even then, it doesn't matter, because they'll just penetrate your turret, which is the main flaw of the Churchill. Not so much on the Excelsior, because of that 114 hull armour, so it's got decent hit points and decent armour. Mobility as well, not that bad. 41 tons with a 600 horsepower engine, which means that you do only have 14.155 horsepower per ton ratio, but you go almost 40 kilometers an hour forwards and 12 backwards, and your tracks. No, that's the engine. You got a Rolls-Royce Meteor in your Excelsior, but 44.1 load limit with a 32 degrees per second, which isn't great, but it's still not that bad. It's certainly better than some of the other heavies. So it's got sort of medium tank mobility, and it's got heavy tank armor. As for the spotting range of the turret, because this stuff isn't reliable unless you got 100% crew, 350 meters view range, yeah, fair enough, it's a heavy tank. The radio as well, 570 meters signal range, not that great, but you're only at tier 5. You know, it's got the same radio as the Black Prince, Matilda, the Tog, the AT-15A, the Sexton, the Cromwell B. Lots of premium British tanks use the radio set number 19 special. So, yeah. But comparing it quick to other things, 550 for the Sherman, 550 for the Crusader. What about the Churchy? Churchy's got 550. Archer, I'm guessing 550. Yeah, lots of British tanks also like the radio set number 19 Mark III. Let's look at the Germans. Do I have any tier 5 Germans? Wow, I don't. How very odd. What about the French then? Let's have a look. Renault G1, yep. 710 meter signal range, that's good. Not so much for that German radio right there, but let's have a look here. Oh, 400 meters. No, that's not good. What about this? Not that great. So, yeah, it's a pretty standard, average tier 5 radio range. As for concealment, yeah, not great. 10.5 when stationary, 6.28 when moving. The Churchill, it's basically got the same concealment of a Churchill, and the Churchill isn't a particularly easy thing to hide. If you have a look there, yeah, not much in it. So, it's a big old tank, but it has fairly decent armour and it's fairly manoeuvrable. What is the downside of this? Well, the answer lies in the gun, doesn't it? Of course it does. Because this gun, I do believe, the 75mm gun Mark V, is the same gun as you get on the Valentine at tier 4, and it's not very good on the Valentine. There you go, 75mm gun Mark V. Now, you will notice, and this is sort of going to go into the rant of the Valentine sort of area, that this 75mm gun has got the same average penetration, the same average damage as the Excelsior's gun. It fires with a 9.1 rate of fire rounds per minute. The same gun on the Excelsior has a rate of fire of 15.8. The Valentine comes off worse again because every gun that the Valentine gets half the rate of fire. Because reasons. But either way, on the Excelsior, the 75mm gun isn't that great at tier 4, and you've got it on a tier 5 heavy that sees tier 6s, and you've got 91mm of penetration. The rate of fire is decent enough with a gun rammer, and I don't have 100% crew, so my reload's 3.7 it says there, but it's actually like 3.6 something or other. But yeah, so it has a fairly decent rate of fire. Average damage, what you would expect from a 75mm gun, except for the one on the Churchill, because the boys down at Vickers have made their high-velocity gun, which does more damage with more penetration, just what you need. It's a fantastic gun. This isn't so much. I believe, can the Churchill actually get it? 75mm gun Mark 5, yep, here we go. That's the one on the Churchill. It has a even better rate of fire with a better aim time than the Excelsior, so yeah. But I was going yeah, why not screw it. Let's go Valentine. Drag these things around, get up this. There we go. So, this same gun on the Churchill gets a more than double rate of fire, just so you know. And this is the one on the Valentine. But yet, on the Churchill it gets a 20 rate of fire instead of a 9.1, because, you know, who likes the Valentine? Wargaming just thought, let's just roll everything that people hate into one tank, and thus the Valentine was born. But anyway, so, comparing it to the one on the Valentine, you've got 2.3 second aim time is fairly standard. It's better than the Valentine, certainly. Horrible dispersion of 0.42. 0.41 still isn't that great, but it's even worse on the Excelsior because it's absolutely horribly inaccurate. Average damage, yeah, it's a 75mm gun. You know, not surprising. However, yeah, the average penetration, 91, you're going to struggle to get through tier 5s, let alone the OI or any tier 6s. Even with premium APCR, you can't penetrate an OI with premium. You come up against an OI, you are dead, because even with premium APCR, you can't get through it. Yeah, the OI is fair and balanced, Wargaming. Of course it is. The rate of fire is quite good, as I said. Average pen with high explosive, yeah, it's high explosive, what do you expect? So, yeah, the penetration isn't very good. However, if you're able to get onto a lightly armoured target, I've played one game in this. The first game that I played, I got 4 kills. We were top tier, and there were some thinly armoured tanks, and we were on Malinovka, so you can guess what happened that entire game. That's right, I stuck to one side. I drove 10 metres out the camp circle to the row of buildings, and I hid behind the buildings the entire game. That's all I did, and I got 4 kills out of it. I also, finished second, I think, on the team. But anyway, that's the replay that I'll show for this, which is why I'm doing this without 100% crew. I've played one game in it, and this is the 75% crew that I had, and I only had a gun rammer on my tank. I don't have any other equipment such as improved vents. Yeah. So, there's the basic stats. If we just have a look here, minus 13 degrees of gun depression is very good. That's amazing gun depression. And elevation, yeah, 20, that's decent. Decent enough. Yeah, horribly inaccurate. 2.3 second aim time is fair enough. Pretty good rate of fire. Yeah, terrible penetration, average damage. As for your consumables, well, yeah, you got that much. You can hold 64 rounds, and I would probably suggest carrying a lot of APCR with you. 91 pen isn't very good. Then you have your crew of 5. So, for your commander, Sixth Sense is always useful, as is Eagle Eye. Jack of Trades if you want. Recon, not a bad idea. And Mentor, I don't see the point in. Then you've got your common skills. So, then we move on to the Gunner, and I would probably suggest with the Gunner going for Deadeye. Because 91 average penetration, if you penetrate, you'll want to show the enemy tank that you have actually managed to hit them and penetrate them with 91 penetration. So, Deadeye, probably, yeah. Snapshot if you want, armour in case your gun keeps getting damaged, designate target, you could do, always useful, especially with this rapid fire gun. As for your driver, off-road driving probably, clutch braking you don't necessarily need. If you do want it, go for it after off-road driving. You're horribly inaccurate anyway, so smooth ride, preventive maintenance to keep getting set on fire, but it does have decent enough rear armour. I mean, it has more rear armour than some tanks have front armour. And then controlled impact, you could do. You are able to get up to a decent enough speed, and you have the mobility, and you have the armour. Not a bad idea to go ramming things. Then you have your common skills. As for the radio operator, I would say probably signal boosting and situational awareness, and then go for relay. Because signal boost, you want to get that signal up, get the radio range up, and then call for vengeance if you want. Then you got your common skills, and then finally your loader. Now, loader, adrenaline rush, yeah, go for it. Safe stowage in case your armour rack keeps getting damaged. And intuition, I'm sure, will probably be most people's first choice because you will want to carry around a lot of APCR. I tend to not carry gold ammunition. I try and use it with AP, as you've seen from Valentine too. But intuition I can understand on this tank because that 91 penetration isn't good at tier 4, let alone tier 5, seeing tier 6s. So yeah. Then you've got your common skills. So overall, it's a decent tank, but with a terrible gun. That's the thing. You can never get a premium tank that's a good tank and have a good gun, except for the Cromwell B, because that's overpowered. The Excelsior has got good armour and good maneuverability, but the gun is what lets it down, because that gun really is terrible. 91 penetration just says it all. It's horrible. The game that I had, it was only tier 5, and I was shooting at the sides of tanks and other thinly armoured tanks, such as a T-28, a Type 91 heavy, and a M2 medium. So, not challenging targets for me to penetrate, but I did manage to penetrate a Churchill a couple of times, mostly from the side or the turret, yeah, so... But in a tier 6 game or against something with armour, you will struggle. DOI especially, or really any tier 6 heavy, to be honest, or maybe even some medium tanks. The T-34 range will give you problems with that sloping armour. But yeah, so overall, good tank, terrible gun. That's my professional opinion on it. So I'll thank you for watching, and goodbye.